Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over everything you need to know and everything you need to do if you're a knife maker and you'd like to turn your hobby into a business. Hi, I'm David, and I teach beginner knife makers how to increase their skills, gain new skills, and turn their craft into a small business. This is the method and the structure that I use personally and that I teach my students when it comes to things like selling knives and scaling up your business. So if that's your goal, you should definitely subscribe because I work with knife makers to help them do just that. You should also consider liking the video so that it saves it and you can reference this video as you're going through this process yourself. So the first thing I want to go over is the 5 categories that I would have somebody pick from as far as their goals as a knife maker. The first category is somebody who wants to make knives just for themselves. They just like them, they like them, they want to use them, they have a knife in mind that they want to make, things like that. Level 2 is somebody who wants to make knives for themselves and for other people as gifts and things like that. Level 3 is somebody who wants to actually sell their knives so that they can kind of pay off the hobby and it's kind of financially neutral, so it's not costing them anything to do it. Level 4 is somebody who wants to actually grow a small business out of it and make profit so that they can make a little extra money and maybe buy better tools, upgrade their shop, things like that, where it'll actually grow itself without needing any financial input outside of the finances it creates. And level 5 is somebody who wants to be a full-time bladesmith and they want that to be their full-time job. Now, you don't have to decide right now which one of these you want to do long term. You're going to have to go through steps 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 anyway to get to as far as you'd like to go. So don't worry too much about deciding right now which one of these you would like to be, but do put a goal out there and say, maybe I'd like to be level 3 or 4. Very few people do want to go for 5. I would really encourage people to at least be at 4 for a while before they go into 5, but that's up to each person. Most people don't care to go to 5, but that's up to each person. This video specifically is going to be intended for people who are level 3 and up as far as their goals go. This is what people answer the most whenever I interview them or ask them questions about their goals as a knife maker. Most people said that they would like to be a 3 to 4. Some people said they'd like to be a 5. So that's going to be the focus of this video, is how to scale your business past 3 into 4. And then you would follow the steps, continue to follow them to get into a level 5 if you choose to do so. But the steps don't change a lot going from 4 to 5. You just scale them up and do add a few more things. So the first and most important thing that you need is skills. This is going to be the foundation that the rest of your business, regardless of the size, is built on. So if you have a beginner level skill set or maybe a slightly more advanced skill set, that's a great place to start. You don't need to be able to do custom orders right away. A good place to start is, can you make something like a fixed blade knife very, very well? High quality. It doesn't have to be overly complicated, but it does need to be good quality if you intend to sell it. So things like bevels, heat treatment, plunge lines, handle, fit up, finishing is really important. Things like that. That's what's going to make a high quality, simple knife. So start there. That'll allow you to actually sell something and get that money coming back to get you to a level 3 as fast as possible. Now, to go into a level 4, you're going to want to increase your skills before you get too crazy with it and actually be able to take on more diverse projects. You want to learn how to do things like take on a few more different blade shapes and styles, a few different handle styles, maybe hidden tangs, half tangs, different shapes and styles of handles, things like that. Maybe guards, pommels, stacked handles, handles with exotic materials, better fit up, better finish, Damascus steel, things like that. They really open up a whole world of possibilities for things like custom orders, because there's a good chance that people are going to see your knives and say, hey, I love this, but I would love it if this was different. Or they may come to you with a totally new custom order. And you want to be able to have the skills to actually fill that order and do whatever they request, because you can charge a lot more money and it really gives you a lot of credibility and it gives you a lot better reputation as well. And if they have a very unique knife that you made them, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell other people, and that'll get you more business that way as well. That's happened to me before. So once you develop your skills to a level 3 or a level 4 capacity to where you can take on custom orders, or you're making high enough quality knives to sell people, what is the next step to actually sell them? This is something I'm very excited to be going over. It is the marketing and the business side of it. The most important thing you can do at first is rapid exposure, where you can actually interact with people. Sometimes you can do this in person if you know people who may have an interest in knives already. I generally try to avoid giving people advice that involves selling to friends and family members, because sometimes they're interested, sometimes they're not. And you don't want to feel like kind of salesman-y or pushy. But if somebody does want one from you, that is something that you can do. Personally, I kind of do that upon request. I don't really try to sell them to people, but you can get exposure by starting out at places like trade shows. You can go to trade shows, craft shows, art shows, gun shows, things like that, to try to get some exposure and actually talk to people. What this is going to do is going to allow you to get feedback from people, because they may pick up a knife and say, I like this knife, but I wish that this part of it was different. Maybe the handle was a different shape, or they like a certain blade shape, or a certain type of handle material, things like that. And it's going to give you live feedback about what you can change, because you want people to look at your knife and love your knife. And the only way to actually know if people like it is to actually talk to them and see how they react when they hold it. That's going to be very important, especially for the next step. But the most important thing to do here is listen to people, listen to what they want, and then change your knives to match what they want. And then you'll also make money while you're doing this, because likely, as long as you're sticking to a good design initially, or at least doing the best you can to make a good quality knife from the start, likely you're going to sell quite a few of them in this too, and it's going to allow you to get more material and things like that to make knives that have those implemented changes. Likely you're going to be pretty close anyway, but that's going to allow you to get some money coming in, and it's going to allow you to get feedback from people so that you can actually start to grow into the next phase. So once you have increased your quality, you've increased your skills, you've met with people in person, you've sold some, you've made some money, you've heard feedback, you've implemented the feedback in new knives that you've made, or modifying old ones if it can be done. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't, it's fine. But once you've done all of that, the next step is automated selling. This is where you set up a system where some third party is selling the knives for you while you're not there. This is great. It takes the stress off of you. It makes it so much easier to enjoy making knives, because you don't have to go through the whole process of selling, which can kind of put a damper on the excitement, since selling is not always a very exciting part of the process. It can be great to talk to people, but to do it with every knife that you make can be a bit tiresome. So the way that I recommend doing any sort of automated selling is either selling online or selling at local stores in person. Just places that are local. And the best option here is selling locally. Now, selling locally will also allow you to scale up to a level 4. You don't really need to go level, you don't need to go online unless you want to go level 5. Either one can cover each one depending on what your selling venue is. But if your goal is level 3 or 4, you can pretty much just sell in person. And it allows you to continue to grow a local reputation and get a local client base formed that's going to really like your stuff, and they will continue to order from you as the years go by. All right, so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Out of the 5 levels of making knives, what would be your ideal goal? Would you like to be a level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Say it in the comments. I would love to read them and see what you guys would like to achieve. So once you have some sort of automated system set up, you can kind of mix and match how much in-person selling you do versus how much you let the automated systems take care of it. It depends on, do you enjoy talking to people when you see them in public, talking to other knife makers, people that like your knives, things like that. Do you like those interactions? Are you really enjoying the knife making process but don't care as much for the in-person communication? You just really like the craft itself, in which case automated systems are going to be a lot better for you. Or you can just, like I said, mix and match it, do however you want. It also depends on how many knives are you trying to move. I know some people only make, you know, a knife a weekend, or maybe 30 knives a year. So if you're making 30 knives a year versus some other hobbyists make 100 knives a year, it really depends on how many you're trying to move, whether or not you need to do more in-person shows or focus mostly on automation. So if this is something that you're interested in and something that you want to actually take on and you want to take this journey, I would love to help you along the way. I teach beginner knife makers how to do everything that I've described, including the quality control, the skills, the new skills, how to land live events, how to land stores, how to find these venues to sell your knives in, and actually scale your business up. If you're interested in actually having somebody walk with you as you go through this process, then check out the link in the description of this video. It takes you to a page that talks about what all I teach and include inside my knife making classes. It teaches everything from how to make them to how to sell them and everything you need to know in between. If it's something that you'd like to take on your own, then I fully support you in doing that. And I hope that you would subscribe and continue watching my videos, that they would help you. But if you'd like to actually walk with me as you go through this process, then check out that link and it'll take you to a page including everything in the course, and it'll give you an opportunity to enroll if you would choose to do so. But until next time, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.